Fortnite gaming. Da, 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 da. Hello, 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 hello. There are people here now. Wow. Hello, how are all of you? Is everything sound going fine? Da 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 da. Okay. So, hello. Hi. Been wanting to just do a little stream, talk to y'all. To kind of decompress after part 2. I'm not working on part 3 in this stream. I'm just here to talk. I have this Eleanor scene up from part 2's and Stinger just to have something on the screen. Is your voice alright? I always sound like this. It's just a talking stream. But So anyway, how are all of you? My wife and son have left me, and by that I mean she went back to college and took him with her. My son being my cat. How long will this go for? I don't know. As long as I feel like it. Glad y'all are doing okay, except for the ones that aren't doing okay, in which case, it sucks to be you. I'm kidding. It sounded much better in both of the timelines. You want to know why? It's because I spent, like, I don't know how many hours recording those and editing them. This is how I sound off the cuff, just like this. Sounds miserable. Everyone tells me how sad I sound. I get it. How am I feeling right now? Completely fine. But do you like making the timelines? If I didn't like making the timelines, there would only be one part and I wouldn't have put the part 1 in parentheses. No, I really enjoy making the timelines. Will Cheese Trap be in part 3? Probably not. Let's see. Can you draw a new version of Springtrap? I don't feel like drawing right now. I thought that skinny clown was Baby. Yeah, no, it's Eleanor. You know what? I was gonna save this for when I make the part 2 behind the scenes. But would y'all like to see some of the designs that I've made for part 3? Yes. Getting a lot of yeses. Will you still include In the Flesh? What a great question. I will tell you if I am including In the Flesh. Just have to pull up the references. Okay. Where is it? There we go. And I just remembered these are the part 2 references. Wrong folder. Okay. Are y'all ready for the greatest thing you're ever gonna see in your lives? Wait, did I not export the End of the Flesh Springtrap? Okay, so I'm gonna spoil in Glitch Trap. Very sad. Wow. Would you look at that? There's Glitch Trap. Your favorites. Oof Troop, do you have a platypus controlling you? I do have a platypus controlling me. He's underneath the table. There's Glitch Trap. Glitchy T. He still has the long neck, but now it's a missing texture. I felt very proud of that. Making him was a little harder than I thought it would be, because Haida did draw Glitch Trap in part 1 for William Afton's pajamas, but well, It was only his head. So I didn't have much to work with, and while I was drawing this, I'm like, oh no, this isn't gonna look good. I have to do it all over again. And then it came together right at the very end, so I'm very happy. Will Michael Afton be Glamrock Freddy? What do you think? Talk for the rest of your streaming or Dr. Doofenshmirtz's voice. No, I don't think so. I have not designed Burn Trap yet. However, I did attempt to. I didn't get very far because I didn't like how it looks, but here's the scrapped Burn Trap design. This is not going to be how he looks. I don't like it. What's funny is people managed to already draw fan art of this, which is wild to me. But there's the scrapped Burn Trap design. He's going to take a lot of work to get right. Will Chuck E. Cheese be in part 3? Oof, true. Please answer. I must know. Was Chuck E. Cheese being scrapped from part 1 not good enough? What do you use to draw? Clip Studio Paint. Will Burn Trap become Burnt Toast? No, I don't think so. Do I have a Vanny design yet? No, I don't. What will you make after the timelines? Something new. Let's see. Have I designed the blob yet? No, I haven't. I'm probably not going to bother designing the blob until I make part 4. Just because the blob won't be in part 3. Which, if you didn't already know, I'm splitting part 3 into part 3 and 4. Because there's too much I want to do, and 30 minutes is not enough time for it. Here's Eleanor's full design. If you don't know who Eleanor is, she is from the Fazbear Frights books, and I am subjecting all of you to book content. Let's see. There's one comment I wanted to read. Not overwhelming support. What or who has touched you the most, considering you sound miserable? I know I've been a long time fan. I've seen your video explaining why your voice sounds like... The voice just kind of sounds like that. I am never gonna live... I'm never gonna live this voice down, my gosh. Let's see. Eleanor. There is... I actually have quite a bit to talk about in terms of designing Eleanor, because my gosh, her official illustrations frustrate me. And it's specifically because I was looking up her design for reference, and then I'm like, you know what, these book illustrations, I'm pretty sure, like, the official ones, like, never look like the descriptions describe them, so I kept scrolling to see if anyone, like, did book-accurate versions of Eleanor. And then I see one that has, like, these braided pigtails and, like, a purple skirt and stuff, and I'm like, huh? So I look, and it has, like, actual excerpts from the epilogues and To Be Beautiful, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not Baby at all. So I was very happy, because I did not want her to look like Baby, because, spoilers, she's not Elizabeth. I'm not making her Elizabeth. So, also, this kind of spoils who Eleanor is, but I feel like you could kind of figure it out from what I did in part 2. Which, if you haven't figured out what I was kind of doing, rewatch the fire scene, the FNAF 6 fire. Bro fully researched her design. yeah, I genuinely did my homework, because I wanted her to look good, and I wanted her to look distinct. Especially because she does not in the official illustration. Kind of in the graphic novel version. She looks a little better in that, but I'm like, that's still not enough. So I thought I'd have to alter it significantly, but then I'm like, oh, her actual descriptions, way easier to go off of those and still get something good. Mans did like 8 hours of work for a character that's going to be forgotten in 10 minutes. Listen, I did amazing things for the Yendo and Phone Dude communities. I think the Eleanor fandom's going to be thriving. And she's going to be very significant in part 3, by the way, so buckle up. Oof Troop, if you see this, I have unconditional love for you. Thank you for making the FNAF lore series. You can dial back the love thing. You can like the lore. Me personally, I don't know who you are, but thank you. I guess. Opinion on FNAF World. See a lot of hate of it, so I was curious for your opinion. In my heart, FNAF World is peak, but I know it's not. But in my heart. Thank you for giving our Lord and Savior Yendo actual screen time. Of course. Phone Dude looked absolutely silly, and I love him very much. Making Phone Dude was so fun. Because, like... I just wanted him to look just rancid. Like, the worst outfit you have ever seen. But, like, so tacky that it was endearing. And I think we accomplished that. Originally, he was going to have sunglasses, and they would go over his stupid little emoticon face, but they just obstructed it too much, and were like, he looks better without the sunglasses. Eleanor is crying child? I want you to say her name out loud, and think a little bit about if I've introduced any characters with that name in the timeline previously. Have you made Tape Girl yet? No, but I should. I should be doing Tape Girl. By the way, y'all want to see Peak? There you go. There's the best thing you'll ever see in your life. Baby Springtrap. It's a boy. So yeah, he's gonna show up. Baby Springtrap. The chat's going insane. He does get a cameo. I wouldn't have designed him if he didn't. Out of stock will be in the timeline. Which I can't, like, tell you how much everything from Frights gets, because I haven't written the script yet. I just know what I want to include and how I want to do it, but I haven't written everything yet. But yeah. What program is this in? Clip Studio Paint. Are you gonna do sea bonnies? And if you do, then what will they look like? I don't know. You'll just have to wait and see. Oof, true. My friends didn't invite me to the sleepover. What should I do? Arson. That's a joke, by the way. Don't burn anything. I want to see Fetch. I haven't designed Fetch yet. Will the special delivery skins be in part 3? I haven't designed any, but I will show you something. A little bit of special delivery content. My boy Lewis. Mr. Coffee Enthusiast. And Vanessa Enthusiast. Oh, chat is lagging. Here we go. Have you made Sarah? Not yet. Oof, Troop, can I have a suggestion? No. Lewis looks like Markiplier. What was the leftmost person? The other 3 here are different versions of Vanessa. All of them will be in the timeline, that's just different points in time. Have you made Gregory? I've not made Gregory yet. The quality of these drawings are moi, Chef's Kiss. Oh, thank you. Is Fredbear coming back as a head? I can't tell you that. 3 Vanessas at once. I hope Flaming Springtrap fans get their win in the special delivery section. Oh, special delivery is going to be like the best thing in this entire timeline. It's all downhill after special delivery. I can't tell you why, but are you making the twisted animatronics? No. Oof Troop, I bought Cheese Trap. Are you proud? How many cheese traps did you get? You're making Security Breach, right? Gee, I wonder if I'm going to make Security Breach. I wonder. Who could say, really? Who could say if I'm making Security Breach in this timeline? Anyway. So there are 4 parts. Part 3 is Frights to Special Delivery. Let's see. Y'all are talking a little fast. Can we see other characters? Yeah, sure. There is one character I'm not going to show you, but I just won't disclose what I'm talking about. Oh, here we go. Here's Plush Trap Chaser. He's been training to be in this timeline. Let me see Glamrock Freddy. Or I have not designed any of the Glamrocks yet. Man be wearing a baby bib. He's got a little bib. I based him off the graphic novel design with some, like, changes, obviously, but I really like his weird gremlin look in the graphic novel. But the answer to how many cheese traps I bought is 84. That's a little too many cheese traps. I'm not proud of you. Oof Troop, does Ferdinand von Bernard make any appearances in Part 3? Only Ferdinand knows the answer to that question. You sound happier than usual. Did you get a date? On the contrary, my girlfriend just left for college again today. Let's see. What will you do after the FNAF timeline? Something new. Ooga Mike Spookum. Skin puke. Will Cheese Trap be in the next part? Cheese Trap is too valuable. Have you ever tried drawing Cheese Trap? Not really. Let's see. Since Dawko got a cameo, or any other people getting cameos? I don't know until I make them. If Cheese Trap multiplied by you, would a pigeon be a taco? The answer is square. Do you have any idea of what you want to do after the timeline? Doing your mom. Doing your mom. Doing your mom. Doing your mom. Do you play Roblox? No. Will Gregory be a robot or not? I can't tell you what Gregory will be. That'd ruin the fun. Are you sick? No. This is just what I sound like. Can I get shout out? No. Oof, I thought I could trust you. No, you can't. You can never trust me. What is your opinion of MadPat's theory where Golden Freddy never existed? I don't care. I thought it was funny because he mentioned, like, oh, does the bite victim not exist? Which is the whole joke I did with the bite victim in my timeline. But I don't care what MadPat is doing with his time. Can you show us some first designs of already know? Yeah, I have the part 2 designs in here. Here is Yendo's design, the first drawing I did of him. He was a toughie, but we made it through. We made it through. I bet $5 that Ferdinand is under your bed. My bed is currently on the floor, so he physically can't be there. Let's see. Oh. The Yendo sweep is sweeping the chat. Is Phone Dude coming back? He exiled himself from society. What's your opinion on Music Man? He's Music Man. By the way, you want to know something about Yendo? He almost lived in part 2. Because originally Molten Freddy's, like, origin was different. In, like, an earlier version of the script, Molten Freddy had just found their mask just sitting on a heat rack that had been left on for 30 years. But then I'm like, that's not really that, like, interesting or funny. And it made the FNAF 6 section way shorter than I wanted it to be. But then I remembered I had Yendo earlier on in the script, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I wrote in that he got repurposed with, like, a new suit after the fun times left and Henry tried to keep things going. And then Ennard comes in with the missing children possessing it. And they're like, who is this loser? So they just burn him alive and steal his mask. I felt so proud of myself, and this is more Yendo content than Scott Cawthon will ever make in his life. Will Security Breach be in the series? What did you think the ending of part 2 is for if I'm not doing Security Breach? Of course I'm doing Security Breach. It's not a question. What's my favorite FNAF game? FNAF 3. Thank you so much for what you did for the Phone Dude community. Of course. Is any of the timeline based on your own interpretation of the canon one, or just... My timeline is a very strange mix of all sorts of things. Because some of it is just, like, how I actually order it in my own head, like, in a serious context. But then, like, a lot of the details and stuff are just me doing whatever I want. And then other things are, like, theories, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting, and that would work well in this context. The thing with me and FNAF lore is that at this point, I can't really be bothered to care what the actual answers are, because it's much more fun to just play around with all the possibilities. And it's like, I still have that tick in my brain where I'm like, you can't do that, that's not canon. But I'm getting better, I'm recovering. Was Cheese Trap worth the money? I have 6 of him. If that answers your question. Will Balloon Boy make his grand return in part 3? Balloon Boy is always watching, always listening, always the hero. Let's see. If any new FNAF content happens after the timeline ends, will you make anything for it? The only factor I'm considering that's kind of worrying me is Ruin. But after Ruin, I'm not touching it. The timeline, I already have an ending decided for it. Ruin might mess with the details a bit, depending when it comes out compared to when I write part 4, but I do not plan to continue the series after I finish. Let's see. Well, that trailer of part 2 that was supposed to be a Cheese Trap video, will that video be finished? The Cheese Trap holiday heist, here's the thing with that. I had the idea in my head to reveal part 2's release date with, like, a fake out video, like, weeks before I made the Cheese Trap holiday heist. And, like, but I wasn't confident enough in part 2's release date yet to do that sooner. So when I did make the Cheese Trap holiday heist, I was, like, really, like, crunching to get part 2 done. But I, like, dedicated a day to make that video. And just did as much as I needed to, short and simple. Is everything good? is everything good? my computer just, like, went crazy on me. I think everything should be fine. Okay, you're back? Everything's fine now? Yeah, what had happened was my computer just randomly, like, blacked out. I'm like, huh? There was, like, an encoding error while it was streaming, but I just had to restart it, and it was fine. So, does Phone Dude have a son? No. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the FNAF movie? I am way more excited for it than I thought I would be. Because that casting really has me excited. But we'll see what happens, but I'm actually optimistic. Let's see. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Cheese Trap's Holiday Heist. So that was literally just made to reveal part 2 as a bait and switch to kind of emulate how Pizzeria Simulator released. So I didn't like write any more of the cheese trap bit than what all of you got to see. But people really liked the cheese trap part, which I was not expecting. So I'm like, oh, so maybe if I'm bored enough and I have some free time, I'll actually make a full little cheese trap saves Tuesday or something. But right now I'm like still just trying to take it easy-ish while still working on. Oh, by the way, someone donated $5 and I forgot to mention that out loud, and I'm sorry about that, but thank you for the $5. William Afton would hate me. Who is the main villain of the timeline? The main villain of the timeline is the friends we made along the way. By the way, here's Scrap Trap's initial design. It looks pretty much the same in the video, but I did not draw him for the most part. Hydated was the one that mostly did Scrap Trap scenes. I did a couple with him, but yeah. So, let's see. At least you don't got bone ears. I had to very much debate if I would include the bone ears. The reason I didn't was because normal William doesn't have ears in my timeline, because it's just purple guy. So I'm like, well, if he doesn't have ears, Scrap Trap obviously should not have ears, as much as I find it funny to include it. And ultimately it makes him easier to draw. His head is already very difficult to draw, but let's see. I love the Scrap Trap design. It looks so awesome. Oh, thank you. Have you ever explained how Afton broke his neck? I explained it in like a part 1 comment reply at some point. Like someone asked me like, oh, how'd Afton break his neck? Because I had that little detail when they were like at their little high school science fair where he had a little neck brace. And then for the rest of the video, William's neck is completely just whatever's going on with that. I think what I had said in response to that was that William, like, just stubbed his toe one day and that managed to break his neck. I can't remember if that's what I said, but I'll go with that. I retcon it to that. There's so much, like, random little lore bits that I just come up with when people ask me questions. And then I never address it in the actual timeline, so it's a complete toss-up if I remember it. But have you finished any of the FNAF games? That's a great question. Moving on. Oof Troop, do you have your first / scrap design of Ferdinand von Bernard? The first design of Ferdinand von Bernard is just the stock image of the grizzly bear. Egg donated $5. Pretend I said something really cool. You're also a huge fan of the channel. That's pretty much it. Thank you for the $5. How do you feel about FNAF Plus? I'm excited for it. Um, let's see. Will you make Ferdinand von Bernard become the Blob depending on which part security breach is going to take place and make him have like a really cringy fight against after? I'm not telling you what I'm planning for the Blob or Ferdinand or Burn Trap or anything. That's what the timeline is for. I like my surprises. Can you show us Scrap Baby? Yeah, sure. Here is Scrap Baby. So, she was a toughie. She was the hardest character to design for part 2. Why is Afton pink in the timeline? So you know how in FNAF 2, Purple Guy has 2 different sprites and one is pink and one is purple? That's why he's pink for like the first half of part 1. It's just a joke about the sprite inconsistency. Tell us where you live. No, I don't think I will. Such a cool design though, so worth it. Oh, thank you. And I agree, it was very much worth it. Can we see Molten Freddy? Yes, yes you can. Here's Molten Freddy. He's real scrunkly. He is. Hold on. I'll actually move him so I can have both of them on screen. There we go. Look at that size difference. I just realized that Is everything visible? Because my preview on OBS is not... does not look right. Okay. Let's see. Will Michael play an antagonistic role in part 3? Well, how is Fazbear Entertainment portrayed in, like, Fazbear Frights and Security Breach? And you'll have your answer. When you are drawing the different characters for your timeline, what brush do you use? You know what? I'll actually show y'all how I draw for the timeline. So what I do, it's incredible, really. So I use this polyline tool in Clip Studio Paint. And I just point it together. So you kind of see how that, like, this is not a good William head. This is not the right color either, but I don't feel like finding him and color picking him. You kind of see how you get the, like, off-kilter angles that kind of gives the style its style. Which, like, of course, this is just based on the weird fake pixel art that Scott Cawthon did for the FNAF minigames, because he doesn't do real pixel art. It's just rectangles. Hold on. There we go. You know, I had music playing. I don't know why it stopped. Okay. Let's see. Love the way you draw Afton's neck. It's so fun to draw his neck like that. Three $5 donations? My gosh. Thank you for the $5. All of you. Let's see. What does the pizza at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza taste like in the timeline? Bad. It tastes bad. Let's see. Those detailed images in like the FNAF 3 part where Springtrap bangs on Henry through the window are so cool. Oh, thank you. In part 1... Oh, can you say Sasasamogus in this ring trap voice?
I always come back to find you, Sasasamogus.
There you go. How many crimes will William commit in part 3? As many as he feels like. Will you make peepaw jokes in part 3? No, I won't, and here's why. Everyone has heard the peepaw joke. It's like Scraptrap's forehead. It's funny the first time you hear it, but people have made the joke like 20 billion times. And since the whole series kind of relies on comedy, I'd like for the bits in it to actually, like, be fresh, or at least somewhat fresh. Which is why the $5 doesn't really get mentioned at all in part 2 until, like, the very end, when it's been, like, a good amount of time. Because then it's like, oh, it's tying back to it, instead of, hee hee, $5 funny. Do a face reveal or tell us where you live. 1, my face isn't a secret. 2, stop with the asking me where I live. I'm not gonna tell you, shut up. Where do you go each time you fade away in each part? Home. Glitch Trap X Vanny in part... No. 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 Ew. Hey, can I have $5? Sure. How close are you to being done with part 3? I barely started part 3. I don't think y'all realize just how much time and effort these things take. Oh my gosh. Listen, it's a struggle. What is William's preferred sandwich toppings? He likes tomatoes and salami, I've decided just now. Part 3 when? Part 3 will come out in 2023. Let's see. Ferdinand von Bernard X Cheese Trap. Now that's a ship I can get behind. That or Toy Chica with Yendo. Great ships. Can Miso be in the timeline? Miso is too good for the timeline. Thank you very much. What software do you use to make these? I draw everything in Clip Studio Paint. I did uses Clip Studio Paint too. And then the actual animation and video editing is done in Premiere Pro. Let's see. What is your favorite Toy Story movie? Let's go with Toy Story 2. I feel like that feels right. How long does it take to make one scene of 5 seconds of animation in one video? Way longer than it probably should. Which, actually, you know what? I want to show y'all something. Don't save. That doesn't need saving. I want to pull up the storyboards for part 2. Because they're fun. They're fun to look at. Let's see. What is your favorite FNAF character? Lemonade Clown. There is no other answer to this question. Favorite game other than FNAF? Bold of you to assume FNAF is my favorite game. It's just the one that has the biggest grip on me. But no, I'd say probably Undertale or Minecraft is always my go-to for favorite game. It's the easiest one for me to just say on the fly, so I go with those two. Let's see. So, here is some of the storyboards. So, like, Michael had gotten what he needed from his father. In fact, he got everything he needed from just about everyone. Getting to manage a successful Freddy's was one of the best experiences he ever had, and he wasn't satisfied with the place being destroyed after only a week. He created a new plan, and with everyone out of his way, he bought the rights to the defunct Fazbear Entertainment and began constructing his new bear-themed empire. So you kind of see, like, how, like, none of the finer details are really, like, figured out yet in these storyboards. Especially for the one of Michael with, like, the little, scale model of the Pizzaplex. But you kind of see how that turns out. Whoa, Eleanor, real? How do people react to Springtrap's post? In the real world, all of you are loving Springtrap's little "My name is Springtrap" tweet. In universe, no one sees the tweet except for him, and he likes his own post. Thank you for the $4.99. Do you wish Scott would make official models for the Unwithered's Toy Foxy and fix FNAF 1 Foxy? Frankly, I don't really care if he makes, like, official models for those guys. There's been enough fan versions that I'm like, I don't care. If he made, like, models of, like, the book characters, though, that would be more interesting. Also, Charmeleon donated $2 asking, do I have any pets? Yes, I have a cat, and his name is Miso. Is it lagging? That's unfortunate. But, how do you draw yourself? You see my little profile picture on my YouTube channel? That's how I draw myself. It shows up in the timeline intros and outros, too. Why did you get the idea of making William's neck so weird? Because he has a weird neck in FNAF 2. That's literally it. And do you like anime? I don't watch much anime, but I have seen some. I really like Psyche K. Love Psyche K. Will John be in the timeline? John? Hit FNAF character John? Ooh, that's a good question. I can't tell you. What years is part 3 gonna cover? It's gonna cover Fazbear Frights to an extent. There's too many to cover all of them, but, like, the important stuff I'm going to actually, like, go into. And then it'll cover Help Wanted, and it'll cover Special Delivery. Thank you for the $1 DJ smiley face. Oof, we need to show you Mob Psycho. No, I'm not watching Mob Psycho. Out of spite. In my opinion, you shouldn't do a face... What do you mean I shouldn't do a face... There's no face reveal. My face is just... You can find it. It's on my channel already. I have done videos with my face. It doesn't matter. No one cares. Will Shadow Bonnie ever come back in part 3? What do you think? Will part 3 be the last part? No, I have to make a part 4 for Security Breach. $5. What's your favorite drawing you've made for the Undeniably Canon series? Okay, 3 donations all at once. Follow Pluto, Hypnotic Bugs are better than Booby Troops. Thank you for the $10, Hypnobugs. $50. That's not US currency, so I don't know how much that actually is. But when you hold your phone with one hand, do you support the weight of your phone with your pinky finger? I think so. Which, I actually got a new phone case, but it's way thinner than my previous one. So I'm like, oh, I need a pop socket now. So I ordered a custom pop socket, and I made it the picture of a Springtrap that he takes on Phone Dude's cell phone. By the way, there's a little detail in part 2 in Springtrap's little picture being Phone Dude's username, a real 178. That means Phone Dude was born in 1978. So in part 2, when Phone Dude shows up, he's like this 45-year-old man that dresses in that rancid outfit and plays Fortnite. And he's like, hey man, glad you came back for another night, man. How significant will Dreadbear be in part 3, and why is he going to be the most important part? Who could say? Why was Germa in a picture in the Afton home? Funny. Is the $5 zoning part actually part of the timeline or a joke? You know, it's not impossible for the $5 to be canonical. It's just never been elaborated on what motivated William initially. So, you know. Oof Troop, what is your favorite Undertale AU? Oh, that's easy. Deltarune. What is the lifespan of your motivation? Longer than I thought it would be, evidently, because I managed to get 2 parts out and I'm still chugging with this timeline. Will Michael Afton have a divorce? That'd require him to have any kind of spouse in the slightest. Michael Afton's greatest lover is himself. Let's see. What organs are Michael still missing? He's pretty sure he's missing his pancreas. $2. Can I cameo as a poster artist for the Pizzaplex? No, but thank you for the $2. I hope you are proud of that purchase you just made. Did you know if you buy William, he will eat your head off? Spooky Month 5 reference. I don't get the reference. Make a weird Freddy. No. My name is Springtrap got me real hard, lol. I'm glad it did. Was Phone Dude going through a midlife crisis? A face reveal would be cool, guys, but I don't think he's comfortable showing his... Didn't I just say... I have multiple videos on this channel right now that you can watch that have my face in it. It's not a secret. It's not a big reveal. It just exists. $1.99. Is there anything FNAF you hope makes it to FNAF Plus? I hope Springtrap busts out of the safe room with a gun on night 7. Will there be more tweets from Springtrap in part 3? Unfortunately, Phone Dude took his phone back from Springtrap after he tranquilized him. What is my favorite card game? Uno? I guess? Will William ever get his $5? If William got his $5 back, there'd be no more story. Why would I give him his $5 back? Come on now. Why did people in Utah not question cool-colored people? Here's the thing. I have no idea if my William or Henry or Eleanor actually look like that in their universe, or if they're just representing and just normal-looking people. It's not something I thought about very hard. And now it's had me in this loop where I'm like, well, one of the gags is that he gets the pink kicked out of him. But what would that entail if he's not literally purple? But at the same time, what does it entail if they all just actually look like that? So I try not to think about it. It is what it is. Is Gregory in part 3? I don't know yet. $2. Can I have William's $5? That's a question for Henry. Will you ever repaint Cheese Trap to make him look like OG Springtrap? Here's the deal, right? Initially, I got multiple cheese traps because I wanted to do that. But now it's gotten to the point where I'm so smitten by the cheese traps looking the way they do that I almost feel like it'd be a crime to repaint them like I got them for. Let's see. Who liked William's post? He did. He liked his own post. You oof troop, I bet you won't miss this comment. You're right, I won't miss it. Goodbye. Can we see your first attempted model for any animatronic? I mean, most of the references are just kind of how they turned out. What is Henry's address? somewhere in Hurricane. Let's see. Everyone ignored that Toy Freddy died tragically in part 2. I love the way you draw Springtrap in this series. He lives in my head and bounces around. I'm very glad people like how Springtrap looks. I'm very proud of him. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was showing little storyboards. So I'm not gonna look at chat for a little minute. So here's another. You can actually see in these storyboards that I hadn't figured out Eleanor's design yet, and she looked a little more like baby. Because that's what the graphic novel design looks like. I based it off that. But I was like not happy with this. I'm like, I don't like how this looks. I don't like the pigtails. I wish it didn't look like baby. The braids came in clutch, let me tell you. So let me pull up some more storyboards. Here's some Ultimate Custom Night ones. There's William in his Freddy mask. Foxy lending out a helping hand. And then Bo. Initially he was going to have the bird, but then I forgot to draw the bird, and I didn't want to draw the bird afterward because I wanted to move on. Because I drew the Foxy UCN scene like a day before I finished the video. Like, it was... this was very tightly finished. Part 2 is this close to not making the deadline, but I managed. Here's some more. There's William in room 1280. Here's him in Ultimate Custom Night. Then he turns his head. And thinking. Then this scene actually wound up ordered differently in the actual video than like the line it was meant for. Because we realized that because I changed this scene right here to be like the Springtraps doing the Spider-Man meme, that we didn't need this scene, but Hydated had already finished drawing it. So I'm like, okay, hopefully I can work out a different spot for it to show up. It was all fine, but we were scared for a minute because that would have been a huge waste of time if I couldn't have fit it in. Yeah. Also, like, for all of the extras, none of them have decided designs until we just kind of get to them. Which, like, even this one, I didn't actually think about Fritz getting to be in this scene yet. I'm glad, because there was a different idea I had for Fritz being involved in FNAF 6. Being like, during Henry's speech, he was like the janitor mopping up, the handyman like mopping up the floors or something, while everything is burning around him, and he just has that stupid grin on his face. But that just didn't really jive with like the script and the visuals we needed. But then we were like, oh, we could just have them like be the handyman, and like you only find out he was still working there after everything burns, and his hair is like still on fire, and his suit is covered in smoke, and he's just carrying out Helpy. And then there's the paramedics saving Springtrap. The doctor, that's the same doctor from part 1. I hope people notice that, because I love bringing back the part 1 extras and just being like, oh hey, how they doing? Doing great. Like there was the bear photographer from part 1 that wound up being the hurricane news reporter, taking photos for the newspaper when Fazbear Fright burned down. And they're like, oh, who's this man in room 1280? And Golden Freddy shows up, and they're like, eee! And then boom. Yeah. Hopefully I'll find these storyboards interesting, because I like talking about them. Yeah, there's Michael just coughing up the remnant. And then, oh yeah, the Scrap Trap scene, where he's like, the really detailed painting of Scrap Trap burning. That wasn't initially going to be a painted scene. Initially, the paintings were supposed to be Springtrap at Fazbear's Fright, and then Molten Freddy, Scrap Baby, and Lefty, and that was it. But then we were like, every Scrap gets one except for Scrap Trap. That feels unfair. So Hydated went ahead and did this as a painting. Very glad he did, because that turned out spectacular. And it feels much more much more fair that all of the scraps get at least one, like, really cool shot. And then, of course, Lefty, Molten Freddy, and Baby burning. Henry burning. Scrap Baby being like, yee. And then Lefty and Molten Freddy are just like... But yeah, I did most of the storyboards for part 2. It was much more like evenly dispersed in part 1 between me and Hydated, but part 2 I did like a lot more in terms of storyboarding, just because I could pump them out way faster, because I already kind of had an idea in my head of what everything should look like. Oh yeah, this is the scene I was talking about that wound up not making the cut, was Fritz just mopping the floor while everything's just burning. And there's Michael just chilling before he runs off like a coward. Accept your death, Purple Man. Henry looks so much more wholesome here than he does in the final video. And Scrap Trap's Angie. He looks really weird in the shot. I don't know what happened when I drew this, but it's just an idea. The Pickles, Scrappy Bee. But yeah. Okay, looking at the chat again. Okay. Waiting for it to load, because it's really behind, I think. What's my favorite joke in part 2? Laura's Vine Boom. Oh, this is going a mile a minute. Really going a mile a minute, my gosh. Okay. Are you playing Minecraft right now? Minecraft music? Yes. Minecraft the game? No. Can you show us some teasers for part 3? All the character designs for part 3 that I showed are as much work on part 3 as there is, other than a bullet list of notes on Google Docs. Let's see. Would this work? Shadow Freddy, back after a couple decades, was in a conga line with Roxanne. Unfortunately, Gregory was trying to play Mario Kart with Freddy and Roxanne got ran over. I have a better idea for Shadow Freddy. You'll just have to wait. What's your opinion on water now? Great question. I need to drink some water. Okay. Are you gonna do another character design analysis? No. No, I'm not. I did not enjoy that. I'm not doing that ever again. Let's see. Why does Springtrap William Afton have the giraffe zigzag neck? Because it's funny. $5. Was the Shaggy bit added after the counts? Let me talk about the Shaggy bit. Because I swear, I manifested that. Because I drew that Shaggy scene. I was like, trying to figure out, like, I had Jeremy the Second come back as a manager. I had Fritz come back as a manager. I had Dawko as a manager. But I'm like, who's gonna be the coward manager? I didn't know. Because there wasn't any part 1 characters that felt right to, like, bring back. Because, like, I already used, like, the 2 named ones, right? But then I'm like, wait, a coward? I just do Shaggy. He's there now, sure. And then, like, 2 days later, Matthew Lillard got announced as William Afton. I don't know how that worked, but it did. I swear, I manifested that. Same kind of thing happened with Pop Goes in part 1 with all that drama with Theft King or whatever. Like, this keeps happening where I do a bit and then somehow that manifests into some kind of similarity in real life. I'm terrified of what's gonna happen when I make part 3. Like, I'm pretty sure Greenland is just gonna, like, blow up or something. Apollo and the Gift of Prophecy. Just randomly hitting me. Favorite character in both parts, Eleanor Schmidt. When does Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator take place in your timeline? I need it for 2023. You manifest FNAF lore. Listen, if somehow Michael Afton winds up being the CEO of Fazbear Entertainment and like Security Breach Ruin or something, you heard it here first. I manifest it. Is there an Oof Troop Discord? No, never again. Get in your Springtrap, please be my profile picture. Y'all can do whatever you want with my drawings. Like, you can make them your profile pic. I don't mind. Is Phone Dude adopted or does he have a mom? If so, where is she now? I don't know. I didn't really think about it. Well, I said bloodline in part 2, so he would be biological. So who knows where the mom is? And frankly, who cares? Let's see. Did you know it's Year of the Springtrap? Yes. Was Fritz Smith adopted? Fritz Smith just kind of showed up one day and never left. Let's see. In part 1, William has a cast on his neck. Is there a canon explanation for that? I already talked about this earlier. He stubbed his toe and it broke. The neck broke because he stubbed his toe. Will part 3 also be about... Part 3 is Frights. Help wanted AR. There you go. Show part 1 storyboard. I don't feel like scrolling through my files that far. $5. Hey, I'm in your walls right now. I ordered burritos. When they arrive, can you make a hole, slide them into your walls? I already ate taquitos. It's tough luck, pal. Doesn't phone guy shoot Fritz during FNAF 2? If you pay attention in part 1, you'll see later during FNAF 1's section that Fritz Smith is alive and well, and he just has a little bandage over his head and he wears sunglasses. And then he keeps popping up in part 2, just with a scar on his face, still wearing the sunglasses. He works at Circus Babies. He works at Pizzeria Sim twice. Demuted donated $2. You getting any of the purple guy YouTubes? Okay, so I managed to snag free willies. Like is it the whale? That's the joke I've been making. It was a free willy, right? I managed to get a free Springtrap and a free purple guy sprite. But I got really paranoid about, like, oh, what if something goes wrong? So I went ahead and bought them again. I bought them anyway, so best case scenario, I just have 2 of a Springtrap and 2 of purple guy sprite. And then I went ahead and bought the other purple guy U2s too, because not having it was going to bother me, especially with how expensive U2s gets after they're out of stock. So I'm getting all of them. Let's see. I was talking about something, but I forgot. Hold up, wasn't Fazbear Fright in part 2? Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction, was in part 2. Fazbear Frights, the book series, is going to be in part 3. Do you have a cat? Yes, its name is Miso. Respond to this, please. Can we have the FNAF 6 restaurant more thoroughly like shown? Is it too late for that? Also, will you do the novels? I mean, you'll see more of the FNAF 6 location in Security Breach, probably. Because, you know, it's underground in Security Breach. But as for just, like, new content with it in it during FNAF 6, no. What you see is what you get. How could Michael regrow his organs through a refrigerator? He's a really good engineer. He was at engineering school for a whole decade. He's really good at what he does. What do you think about Willy's Wonderland? I've never seen Willy's Wonderland. I don't care about Willy's Wonderland. I have no opinion. What would be your opinion if there was a cheese trap U2s? Y'all would hate me if there's ever a cheese trap U2s. I would be feral. Will Dark Springtrap ever return? No, he had his 5 seconds of fame. Is there going to be a part 4 when Ruin comes out? There's going to be a part 4 regardless, because I have to push Security Breach into its own part, because there's too much I want to do with it. As for Ruin, I don't know if I'm going to tackle Ruin or not. It just depends on the timing. Among Us or Among Us? Sus? What's your favorite fruit? Michael Afton. Pineapple pizza? No. Let's see. Who is the indie game developer? Steve Snodgrass, of course. Draw yourself in the undeniably canon FNAF timeline style. Did that already happen? You know the police officers in part 1? That was just me and Hydatid. Great law enforcement. Just spectacular at their job. How did William get purple? Cassidy kicked him in the shins. Is Michael's middle name Joel? No. Can we see more art? Yeah, sure. Let's see. Here's some more storyboards, because those are easy to show. There's Michael. Little Helpy. I realized I hadn't written a single thing about Helpy in the script, and I'm like, oh, I really want him to be in the video. Because, you know, Helpy's the best part of FNAF 6. So I just kind of had him show up in the visuals, just having a great old time. I love Eleanor Schmidt. She is my favorite character. Michael is up there too. Basically every Afton I just really enjoy writing them and drawing them. They're very fun. Scrap Baby was a riot too, which I drew like almost every single Scrap Baby scene in part 2. Within the span of 2 days. It was an experience. I'm glad I never have to draw her again. Okay. Back to looking at chat. We get an update on Toy Freddy's gaming career. Toy Freddy is dead. Who would win in a fight, you or Ferdinand von Bernard? Ferdinand. He would win. What's the longest project you've worked on? The undeniably canon FNAF timeline. What was Eleanor Schmidt's design process? Okay, so Eleanor Schmidt has a very, very intricate design process. I put blonde hair and lipstick on purple guy. Do FNAF World and next part, please. I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't think FNAF World jives with what I've created. What happened to the other 2 of Michael's Uno buddies? So the Freddy bully, that Uno buddy, he went off to Yale and became president of the United States. And his name is John, from the novel trilogy. John became president. And then, the other one, the Chica bully, works at a 7-Eleven, and his name is Steve Snodgrass. Not really. I don't think that actually works with the design I have in my head for Steve Snodgrass. Okay, oof, I have to go, but I'm glad I managed to get 28 streams. Have fun with your stream, friend. Thank you again, Hypnobugs, for the $5. Another $5 from Trimillion. Why has William never used the disc that gave Ferdinand infinite power on himself? Do you think William Afton knows or cares about the idea of giving himself infinite power? No, he just wants his $5. He's not in it for anything more than, like, studying Remnant, getting $5. He doesn't care. How was your day, Oof Troop? It was decent. It's been a decent day. You just materialized $5, though. It's not about getting $5 just randomly. Because William could make back those $5 as much as he wants. It doesn't matter. He's completely fine financially. It's the principle of Henry not giving them back to him. And then, of course, Henry paid Michael $5,000, and William was livid about that. Why does he want $5? It's been over a decade. Actually, he lost his $5 like 4 decades before Pizzeria Sim, and he was still mad about it after like 40 years. He's just a very petty man. Does Fritz also work at the Pizzaplex? Only one way to find out. $1.99. The $5 gag is amazing. Thank you. Will you make a full version after the story is finished? Yeah. So the plan is that after I finish the whole series, we're gonna remaster part 1 because its artwork is just drastically notably lesser quality than in part 2. So we want to go back and fix up part 1 visually. Script stays the same, audio stays the same, but the visuals will get a touch up, and then everything will be weaved together. There's going to be a new intro and outro that's not the me and the viewer and Ferdinand. It's going to be a unique intro and outro to the supercut, and it'll all just weave together in one go. So it'll be like a whole movie of undeniably canon FNAF timeline, uninterrupted, except for ads, because I need to make money. This is my job. Is the books canon? Undeniably canon. Will you do all endings of the new game? Who knows? What's up with Vanny's design? You mean white woman? How many characters like cheeseburgers in the undeniably canon time? I don't know. I didn't ask them. What did Henry buy with the $5? I don't think Henry even remembered he took the $5. Opinion on Jeremiah. Listen, after one rotten Uno game, Jeremy never talked to Michael again. And that rotten Uno game was Bite Victim's rigged Uno game, because Michael just never showed up afterward. Michael went off to engineering school for a decade, came back, and they already parted ways. Why did Henry need the $5? Who knows? How old is Henry? At the time of FNAF 6 in my timeline, probably in his 70s. I did the math in my head, because we put William's, age, roughly, in part 2. But, I don't have any green cards. After your FNAF timeline, do you think you can cover the Slendy Tubbies lore? I get that it's not really your thing, but nobody... You're right, it's not my thing, so the answer's no. Very sorry. $1.99. $5 for 6 dead kids. Fair deal, TBH. Didn't Toy Freddy live happily? Yes, he did. $1. Thank you for $1. What firearm does Michael own? A gun. Did William play UCN for $5? No, he played it against his will because Cassie and Andrew inflicted it on him. Out of nowhere. How old is Michael after FNAF 6? I don't know. He's purple. Do you have a scrap design of the spring locks? No. Will Richard the Stormtrooper be in FNAF timeline? Probably not. Here's the thing. I'm not doing any other, undeniably canon lores after FNAF is done. I don't really care about anything else that much to keep doing this kind of thing. I'm doing my own original project after this, and y'all are hopefully going to like it. If you don't, that's probably gonna be a problem for me, but that's a future me problem. Please respond. Do you know who Spamton G spammed? Spamton is in my room right now, watching and judging me every day. Huff 400. What's Ferdinand von Bernard's body count in murders? I don't know. I didn't ask him. How old is William Afton in FNAF 6? Same age as Henry. Any plans for behind the scenes for part 2 and on? I've written a behind the scenes script for part 2, so that'll come out this month or next month probably. And then please respond. Hide a cheese trap in part 3. I'm not gonna hide cheese trap in there out of spite. Maybe if you stop asking me for it, maybe I'll do it. But I'm not gonna if you keep asking me. When did Henry and William meet? When they were children. Why did you make William not have a knife, but the death stare? Well, do you see him murder anyone with a knife in the FNAF games? No. He just stands there and the children die. Meaning that he just stares at them and they die. Same with Springtrap. He walks up to you, you're dead. He doesn't have to do anything. He just looks at you. Please show us a ghost child. You know the ones. Hold on. I have my favorite image of the ghost children being them at the coffee shop. If I can find it. Here we go. Look at that. And this is a version of the scene before I, like, separated all the assets and then animated them for the videos. This is just all the art, just still. Let's see. Does Vanessa have the death stare? Who knows? How was Fredbear executed? Decapitated. There was a guillotine in the newspaper that revealed that Fredbear was being executed. Let's see. You're telling me William trashed his entire life and lifelong friendship over $5? Yes, he did. There's a theory that Michael is Glamrock Freddy and the crying child. Michael's little brother is Gregory. Will you make the theory in part 3? If I tell you what I'm going to do for mysteries like that, it kind of ruins the fun of finding out what I'm doing with them. Like, I'm okay with showing the character designs to some extent, because that doesn't, like, reveal, like, twists and turns I want to take, but if you want me to answer, like, oh, is Michael gonna be Glamrock Freddy? Oh, why would I say so? Is Phone Dude God? No, he's Phone Dude. Who's the old lady? That is not an old lady. That is a character of mine for the project I'm doing after the timeline. I actually snuck them and the other protagonist into this little Starbucks scene. So that character is Gray. Their name is Gray. And then this one here, holding the coffee cup, is named Vivian. Opinion on SpongeBob. Best show of all time. Who is your favorite MC? Like, main character? William, I guess? Let's see. Will Greg Bot be a thing? You'll have to wait and see. Will there be new characters in part 3? Yes. Let's see. Does Mike have the death stare? No, he does not. Oh, I meant missing child. My favorite of the missing children in this timeline is Cassidy, because she kicked William in the shins. How did you get into FNAF? I saw a game theory for FNAF 2 back in ye old days, and now Freddy Fazbear lives rent-free in my head for the rest of my life. What did the cliffhanger at the end of part 2 represent? Eleanor from Fazbear Frights. Is FNAF 3 a real game? Yes, it is. What kind of food did they sell in Fredbear's Family Diner? Good tasting pizza, because they hadn't wasted their budget on tablecloths yet. What's your advice for someone looking to get involved in the FNAF community? Run. How do you feel about Baby Springtrap? It's a boy, alright. Let's see. Will you ever post something about that project with your OCs? Oh yeah, I was talking about this and then I'm like, oh, I need to read the chat again. But I had a point for this. So these two that show up in the coffee shop scene are the main characters of the project that I'm planning to do after the timeline is finished. So let me find one of my drawings of them. Here we go. There we go. So this is their actual, like, proper designs. So the one on the left, her name is Vivian, and the one on the right, their name is Gray. So, as you can see, Gray is very gray, and Vivian is very vivid. Whoa, that's so funny. So, the right one looks like you. That's sort of the point. And, so the whole story with them is that the universe just kind of stops obeying the laws of reality, and then Gray is just randomly dubbed the main character of the universe, which they're not really much for that kind of role. So they're having so much fun having to deal with that, and they just kind of have to go through this very weird shift in reality. Lots of shenanigans, but I still have to do a lot of, like, brainstorming and writing and stuff. Is Miso with Ferdinand and having a party? No, Miso's on a car ride. Is Millie in this? Who's Millie? Is William British in the timeline? He says, British as my Missourian voice can muster. But where can I get that poncho hoodie? I don't know. I made it up. But how long have you been drawing? Since I was like 4, probably. What kind of music do I listen to? Whatever I happen to like on a given day. When will you be announcing the Oof True plushie? Here's the thing. I don't really want to sell merch of myself. It just feels weird. I'm like, who really wants to snuggle with just this random YouTuber that they like to some extent? It never made sense in my head. So I'm hoping that if I ever, like, get to the point where, like, oh, I get to make merch or something, it'll be of an actual, like, original character of mine, because that'll sit with me way better. And then it's like, if I murder someone at some point, then, oh, you don't have to look at your plushie knowing, oh, that's a real terrible person. You can just look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's still that character I like. But can you make Ferdinand merch, pretty please? I would love to make timeline merch in general, but that's a legal gray area I do not want to deal with. Specifically for Ferdinand. Everything else, definitely a no-go. But Ferdinand specifically, I'm like, probably safer not to. Let's see. Will any of characters die of old age? Probably not. Oh, hey, do you like me? I'm H2 cool. $2. I like that you gave me $2. Thank you. So let's see. Does William hate Roxy? She's not pink and white. I already know what I want to do regarding Roxy, but you'll just have to buckle up and wait. How big is Henry's nose? I don't know. Big enough. How many friendships did Henry ever ruin by borrowing $5 in his life? Just the one. It was just a really, really inconvenient friendship to mess up. Does Henry like Chica? I guess he does, because he did make her the star of Chica's Party World. Let's see. I like this picture. We're just gonna linger on this for a minute. Is Henry divorced? I like to think that he just kind of mitosised one day and Charlie and Sammy just were a result of that. William and Eleanor did it the old-fashioned way. Henry just manifested it. Let's see. Bro, I really want to make that my profile, Lamau. Go ahead. Will I conclude the Fazbear Fight story count the ways? I'm gonna count the amount of times you asked that question. I don't know. I haven't written part 3 yet. Let's see. Millie from a YouTube cartoon called Hell of a Boss. What does Millie have to do with FNAF? I'm confused what the correlation is there. I mean, no, I don't think I'm gonna cross those two over. Please mock Burn Trap in part 3. I don't think that's necessary. I've already ranted enough about Burn Trap. I don't care anymore. He's just a silly, goofy guy. Bro, my name be Millie. I don't want it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Then perish. What is William's IP address? There's a reason that I have not responded to this question, because you keep spamming it. I don't know. Stop it. Have you ever watched Edgeworld? Nope. But thank you for the $2 again. Before William stubs his toe as a child, does he have a normal neck? Yeah, that's the whole joke I was going for, is that he broke his neck by stubbing his toe. What if Burn Trap ends up frozen in a refrigerator despite his name, Lamo? You say this. You joke. But there's a good reason for that refrigerator gag. Oops. Is William gay for Henry? William really, really likes Henry. And they were roommates. All I can say is Henry does not reciprocate the feelings. Please draw William pre-toe stub. Maybe one day. What percentage is Phone Dude's phone at? 2%. How many subscribers did Gamer Toy Freddy get? Not enough. Never enough. Is Ferdinand still a cosmic being without illusion discs? No. When he takes off the illusion discs, that's him nerfing himself. So Nightmare Fredbear in FNAF 4, that's Ferdinand at like 1% of his power. Telepug $2 Madison. Did William and Henry have a relationship? Nope, they did not. William's just very obsessed with Henry. Have you watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared? Yes, I have. Does Charlie from the Silver Eyes trilogy exist? No. Is William a furry? I don't know why people keep asking me this when I specifically refer to Spring Bonnie as his fursuit repeatedly in the timeline. Like, yes, he is definitely a furry. Will Buff Helpy be canon? Nope. How long does it take for you to animate the timeline videos? Longer than I'd like it to. Let's see, would you rather have a taco or $5? $5. Has Henry ever worn any of the Springlock suits? No. No, Henry never touched those things. Like, he would hold them from the outside. He would not even put his finger on the inside of one of them. And William just immediately slapped that Spring Bonnie suit on and was just, like, in heaven. Like, oh. Is Michael a furry? No. Is Fritz in love with a mop? No. Will you call the blob Squidward? Huh? No? If the bite victim never existed, what were William and Eleanor doing that one night? I don't know. I didn't ask them. Has anyone in the timeline ever survived a springlock suit? Michael did. You saw Michael survive the springlock suit. In part 2. His phone due to Florida man. No, he's a Utah man. How are you going to integrate the books into the videos, or are they just a whole other can of worms? Fazbear Frights is all I'm tackling. Little bit, a sprinkle of Tales from the Pizzaplex, just because that one's not done. Okay, here's that $5. Thank you, evil wizard. Did William make out with Henry yet? I think they tried it once, and Henry was not into it. Did stubbing his toe turn him purple? No. Stubbing his toe broke his neck. Let's see. What would William's reaction be to liking Foxy? I mean, you saw his reaction in part 1. He told Mike to take off that disrespectful mask and take up engineering. And Michael never really thought about Foxy ever again after that. Let's see. Hee Willy selfie. Will you consider this series of a new FNAF game releases or no? No. Once it's done, it's done. Not touching it again. Except for a Christmas special. I want to make a timeline Christmas at some point. Did Henry give the $5 to Mrs. Afton? There is no Mrs. Afton. There is only Eleanor Schmidt. Does Michael have a girlfriend? Do you think Michael would kiss a woman? No. His greatest lover is himself. How is Fritz Smith still alive? Sheer willpower. Because he's just a menace. Does William celebrate Christmas? He does, but the only gifts he ever gives his children are little Spring Bonnie merchandise. Does Michael have a body pillow of himself? He would if he knew that body pillows existed. What turned him purple? William got kicked in the shins by Cassidy. Will you add the Ruin DLC to the timeline? That depends when Ruin comes out. I think I'm losing it. Since Callum showed up in part 2, is Dialtown somewhat canon, or was that... It's just a funny. Don't think too much about, like, the character cameos, because Callum Crown's lore in Dialtown does not at all jive with Callum Crown in this timeline. Will Mr. Hippo be in part 3? You know it, baby. Let's see. If Michael loves himself, would that make him gay? I suppose so. Though I suppose narcissist would be more of an accurate description of him. I've had this question for a bit. Is Ferdinand von Bernard friends with Flumpty, or would they have slumber parties together? Ferdinand von Bernard would smash Flumpty onto the pavement. We do not respect Flumpties in this household. Let's see. Why does William have an obsession with yellow rabbits? Did you see one in the dream once? He just got very smitten when they made Spring Bonnie. It's complete. What's your opinion on the Michael Simpers? Listen, there are so many of, like, TikTok edits of my Michael, and it is so funny. I've favorited, like, every single TikTok that I've seen of my timeline, because it's so funny. And they still love Purple Michael, too, because I was even thinking about it, like, after, like, before part 2 came out, because this had happened with part 1. People were doing edits of part 1 Michael. I'm like, are people still gonna like this after I make him an evil, like, capitalist guy? And then people love evil CEO capitalist Purple Mike. It's amazing. Is William a simp for Funtime Foxy? William doesn't like Funtime Foxy. He made Funtime Foxy specifically to be unlikable. Show us more drawings. Okay. There you go. Slowly, I'm after. Will there be a Oof Troop makeshift plush? Like I said before, I don't want to make merchandise of myself. It just feels weird. Slowly, I'm after. Oh. I'll post this on the community tab later. How about that? Oh. Also, Swolium Ashton is in a picture frame in part 2. So have fun hunting for him now that you know that he exists. Hold on, let me see if I can find a funny little drawing. Oh, actually. When did you make this? Sometime in November, I think. Who is in the Pop Ghost suit? Do you think I thought about the intricate Pop Goes getting arrested lore? No, I thought it was funny. There we go. There's Ferdinand, cleansing all of your eyeballs. You doing something for Valentine's? Probably not. Fun fact, I made this like little Ferdinand poster just for it to show up in like warped in one of the FNAF 3 backgrounds for like 5 seconds. But later I got to actually like use it for Henry's like FNAF 6 plan, so that made me feel a little better about it just barely getting to have a use in the video. Is Saul Goodman canon in FNAF timeline? Yes, of course he is. He helped William get custody of his kids. What is the lore behind the Springlock and Circus Babies? Why is it there? Why is it blue? Oh yeah. Let me actually like explain the Springlock suit, because I don't think anyone has actually like realized why it looks the way it does. But there was a reason for it. Probably not a very conventional reason, but a reason. It's like the idea with it. I'm like trying to pull up the reference images. But the idea with the Springlock suit, waiting for it to load, because it takes a hot minute when I'm streaming. I probably should not be using a laptop if I'm gonna keep doing this YouTube thing, because it has really been fighting me. But it's been working so far. Well enough for me to get by. Is it gonna load? You kidding me? There we go. Okay. So there's the Springlock suit, the reference image for it. And then pulling up the reason for why it looks like that. Scrap Baby. So the whole point of the Springlock suit looking like that was I kind of wanted there to be context for why Scrap Baby's like suit looks different than Circus Baby. So I'm like, oh, she used like parts from both and like put together herself out of the like trash from Chica's Party World. So yeah, that's why the Springlock suit looks like that. As for why it looks like that to begin with, that's more like the idea I have is like it was an initial attempt at building Baby before William scrapped it and did the final one. Will you upload this as a thought? YouTube should just automatically have this available to watch later. Let's see. It's part of Scrap Baby, yeah. Yeah. Where's Phone Woman? Minding her own business. She took extra parts from the melted Yendo. Emphasize just so you can see this in part 3, make Gregory. I'm not making Gregory on the stream. He's for some other time. Let's see. If William broke his neck by stubbing his toe, then would William's toe break if he snapped his neck? Loved your videos, by the way. Thank you. And no, if William broke his neck, then his his left thumb, would break instead. Lolbit is William's online persona, right? Yes, and he used it to troll a young phone dude who lost his father. Tell Scrap Baby to cut her hair, please. No, but she looks so good. Will there be an Oof Troop cinematic universe? I don't know. Remember the Ace Attorney videos? Yes, I do. The reason the Ace Attorney stuff just kind of got removed and never continued is because we just decided we didn't really enjoy, like, recording playing it. So we just stopped. Will Gus Fring be in part 3, lol? No. Draw buff Scrap Troop from FNAF 6? No. No. Swolliam Afton was an isolated incident because it was funny. Why is Michael bald? I don't know if you know this, but Ennard, like, completely gutted him, and he's a corpse. William was confirmed to be a furry, so is Vanessa a furry just taken control of by one? Vanessa is a gamer being inhabited by a furry. Make part 3 intro. Bernard has Fredbear with him in 2 different shows, and just say, oh, you brought a friend. Alright, let's continue this. No. No. Have you seen Vape at the Gamer's reaction to your series? Yes, I have seen, like, most of the reaction videos. I try to seek them out, but YouTube search is so annoying, because I'll look up, like, blah 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 reaction, blah 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 blah, and then it'll show me some of the videos that I'm actually looking for, but then it'll show me completely unrelated videos, like, viewers also watching. I'm like, you haven't shown me the extent of the search. Anyway, $2. I want to be in part 3 or I will unsubscribe. Unsubscribe, coward. Is Spring Bonnie Williams' persona? Yes. Who is the best gamer in the whole FNAF series? Foxy, but exclusively for Pack and Pal. Toy Freddy's way better at, like, everything else. Don't put him in part 5 and I'll subscribe to all. M's World, you've got me here. Swolliam Afton. Henry's opinion on Balloon Boy. Henry doesn't really care about Balloon Boy very much. William loves Balloon Boy. You should have Buzz Lightyear in this. Suddenly I have an idea for a gag with the Buzz Lightyear cameo. I don't know if I'll actually do it or if I'll remember, but... Is an objective and true Five Nights at Freddy's timeline another timeline, or is it undeniably canon? It's completely separate. Consider it a prototype. Just ignore the objective and true one, because as much as I, like, am proud of it for what it was at the time, just disregard it. But yeah. Anyway, I'm losing steam very fast, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. But thank you very much for tuning in and spamming me with bizarre questions. And chances are I will probably not stream again for the next several months. But we'll see. Thank you very much, and thank you for all the donations. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Anyway, part 2 behind the scenes should be made either this month or next month, and part 3, just gonna keep chugging until it's done. Please don't ask me when it's coming out. I don't know. Anyway, thank you.